Creole languages are a powerful linguistic resource, a means of communication created by our African ancestors when their freedom, their voice, and their languages were taken from them. They were isolated from their relatives, and European language were yelled at them without any kind of formal education. For centuries, English and then Spanish, through the church and the educational system, tried to eliminate all African elements and everything considered incorrect from Creole without success, which is why this linguistic heritage has endured for centuries. Just as Latin one day ceased to be Latin and became Spanish, the English that arrived in the Caribbean ceased to be English and transformed into Creole due to the contact of speakers of different languages in a situation of extreme uprooting where the human capacity for communication ran its course as it always has and always will. That is an achievement that came about thanks to some brave and brilliant ancestors who managed to overcome the impossibility of communicating in their language and created a new one for their survival. In this new language, they introduced elements of their new life in the new world and kept others their own symbolic and unforgettable. And this was the language that they taught their children along with many other cultural manifestations that are still alive and strong. The Creole was born from the contact of different cultures, lived in communities where the exchange and coexistence with speakers of different languages was the only option, traveled through the Caribbean, settled in the archipelago of the islands of San Andres, Providence, and Catalina. It continued to evolve, it stood up to English, it stands up to Spanish, and it continues to be enriching with new elements that will tell the story of the archipelago better than anyone else. In the Raizal indigenous territory of San Andres, Providence, and Catalina, there is one of the two Creole languages of Colombia, which historically and culturally is a language that extends through the greater Caribbean as a manifestation of the linguistic cultural variety of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, and the Cayman Islands, demarcating the West Indies region. But it also shares traits with language peers in Guyana, the Bahamas, and the Lesser Antilles at least. The oral and written manifestations of the Raizal people are expressed through their Afro-Caribbean language belonging to the African-based Creole languages and phonological and morphosyntactic structure. Reworked through one linguistic and cultural creations from the experiences of its speakers during the slave trade period and the relexified with word forms of Kua, Twi, Ewe, Luo, Igbo, Fante, Bantu, Mende, Bende, Wolof, Ashanti, Lukumi, Balanta, Acromanti, Mandinka, Arawak, Caribbean, Miskito, Portuguese, Scottish, Irish, Welsh, Spanish, Anglo-Saxon, Dutch, and French, among others. Brought to the Raizal territory and the Central American Caribbean coast by the ancestors of the Raizals who arrived with the founding language of the West Indies, whose historical languages are the mother tongues of Africa, mainly West.